speed, distance, and time. Speed is the distance that an object travels related to the time taken, and the formula for average speed is distance travelled over time taken. We say average speed because if you imagine a trip to Sydney, you're not travelling at the same speed the whole time. You'll speed up, slow down, stop at traffic lights. So the total distance travelled over the total time taken just gives you the average speed that you were travelling at, but your speed will vary. Speed is usually measured in either meters per second, so distance is given in meters and time in seconds, or kilometers per hour. This formula simplifies down to speed equals distance over time. And we do need to be able to find distance and time as well, so we'll need those formulas. This is where we get to rearrange a formula. So this is our base formula, speed is distance over time. If I wanted distance on its own, I've got distance divided by time, I would have to get rid of this divided by time by multiplying both sides by the time. So what we'd get is time moving over to here, distance is speed times time. And that makes sense. If you're travelling at 10 kilometres per hour for 3 hours, 10 times 3 is 30, you'll travel 30 kilometres. And from this, if I want time on its own, I've got this times by speed here. I'd have to divide by speed on both sides to get time equals distance divided by speed. So these are your three formulas for finding speed, distance, and time. Now if you want this little speed, distance, time triangle, speed, distance, time, you cover up the thing you're finding and what's left gives you the formula. So cover up speed, distance over time. Cover up distance, speed times time. Cover up time, distance over speed. So, find the average speed in kilometres per hour of a runner who completes the 1500 metres in 3 minutes 30 seconds. Now they've given me speed, the distance in metres and time in minutes and seconds. So we could go with finding the speed in metres per second and converting, or we could go with changing this to kilometres and this to hours and just calculating it. It's up to you. We'll learn converting later, so converting metres per second to kilometres per hour. So let's just convert these. 1500 metres, 1.5 kilometres, 3 minutes 30 seconds. 30 seconds is half a minute, so it's 3.5 minutes. To change minutes to hours, divide by 60. So 3.5 divided by 60 is 0.0583 recurring. And that's hours. So you can see this is a little bit annoying to have to use a number like this, so we might have been better off working out speed in meters per second and then converting. So if we're finding speed, distance, or time, we write our formula. Speed is distance over time. Substitute in our values. Now I normally say not to put the units in, but I'm just going to put the units in to show you something that helps. 1.5 kilometres over 0.0583 repeater hours. Now, if we do that division, 1.5 divided by 0.058, and use your 3 recurring, we might as well. That is 25.7. And see how I've got kilometres / hours in the units in my question? That gives me the units for my answer, which is kind of useful. But you absolutely don't need to put these in if you don't want to. You could just do 1.5 over this and then write your units in. Next question, find the distance travelled by a truck moving at 110 kilometres per hour for 20 minutes. distance formula. Distance is speed times time. And again, kilometres per hour, but I've got 20 minutes. I would have to work out what 20 minutes is in hours. 20 minutes divided by 60 for hours, 0.3 repeater, or 1/3 of an hour. Substitute your values in. Look at what happens when we put the units in. 110 kilometres per hour. Now I'm multiplying by 1/3 of an hour. And I'm deliberately putting these units in. I'll do it without the units in a minute, just in case you prefer that. The per does actually represent a fraction. So just switching colours, I could write this as 110 kilometres over an hour times 1 hour divided by 3. And these units cancel in the same way that numbers would. So what I've got is I've ended up with 110 over 3 kilometres. Because multiplying by 1/3 is the same as dividing by 3. And 110 divided by 3 is much easier to type in. 36.67. And the only unit that's left is kilometres. But I realise that using units like this can be a little bit confusing. So we could just do this as distance is speed times time. That's 110 times 0.3 repeater. 110 times 0.3 repeater is 36.67. You've got speed and time in kilometres per hour and hours. That means you've got kilometres for your distance answer. So don't worry if following all the units things doesn't really work for you. You can just substitute in the values, multiply, work out your units. A hiker leaves camp at 9:15 a.m. and reaches the next night's camping spot by 6:03 p.m. If the distance walked was 15 kilometres, find their average speed. So what we have is the time of start and finish, which means we need to find out the duration, how long that took. Usually easiest to count on full hours and then count on minutes. So 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 9 hours to get to... oh, hang on a second. It's not forget everything I said, probably after good morning. Obviously, we can't count from 9. We've got to get to 10. So I've got 45 minutes to get to 10 o'clock. Then I can count full hours, my bad, from 10. 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 8 hours to get to 6 p.m. and then an extra 3 minutes to get to 6:03. So I have 8 hours, 48 minutes. Now that's hours and minutes. We are going to need that in decimal hours. 8 hours, but this decimal part will be calculated by doing 48 divided by 60. 0.8, so that is 8.8 hours. Once you've worked out your time, then we use our formula. Time equals distance divided by speed. I'm not finding time. I'm finding their average speed. Speed is distance over time. I really should have had a question where you found time. I'm sorry, I'm sure you can work it out. Distance of 15 kilometres over 8.8 hours. 15 divided by 8.8, and an average speed of 2.04 kilometers per hour. Sorry, I didn't do a time question.